They didn't have any speed traps on the way over here.
Are we deciding?
Or swear traps.
Oh, that's what your packet, I just put it on. Oh. I watched a video of you delivering a lamb the other day.
Oh, really?
Yes, Emily posted one.
Successful.
Davis watched.
I was in the wrong position. I had to reach over. It was in. How it came.
Davis watched it, he goes, why is that lamb black? I said, because sometimes they have black wool, he thinks that they're all white.
All right, since we're all here, we might as well start. We'll bring the meeting to order. First, it looks like the road report. It's muddy. I don't know.
Oh, thank you.
How was plowing?
Oh, it was kind of close to a disaster. Yeah, I think Thomas made it back over your way today with the graders cleaning up,
West College.
even if you couldn't notice.
You didn't notice?
Guess I messed up.
He was
10
there.
inches on top of salt.
Well, you know, it was just one of those things where it was just a tree down here and a tree down there, and it was kind of a mess. Like Dairy Hill there, I see it didn't get plowed, but it's supposed to be plowed by South Rutland. And so when they finally got around to plow, they never did plow my end. I don't quite understand that. So I had to send a grader by this morning, it was so froze up, I had to send a grader up there to get that cleaned up. But, I plowed all there that's on my end, and I just don't quite figure out why you did that, but that's one of those things. Yep. And, the ton truck broke down on me. Apparently a stone, I mean, I can think of the stone, but something must have got into the wheel in between the rim and the caliper. And there's a tube that comes from one side to the other on
Oh,
the
yeah.
calipers.
Yeah.
And it must have picked that hose, that pipe up out of the trough it belongs in and got it up there, and the rim, of course, cut a hole in it, and then right went out on the old girl. So shoot, that one was down. And I had a caliper at the garage, and I said, well, we'll just take that piece and we'll just set it right on there and we won't worry about it. Well, wouldn't you know that it was bought for that truck, but it's the nuts thread in two different sizes. The ones that are on the truck are small ones, and the ones on that new caliper are big ones. Well, wait, they got that. And so that went down, and then Thomas's truck, somehow a stick came up through underneath. There was a lot of them out there, so I could see how it happened. And there's two little hoses upside your pinky that went in some kind of a little cooler. And it went right up in there and broke both of them. And so and then it started leaking, so that one was down. And then we got the grader out and got that moving, but graders, loaders, all of them things are so slow. So it takes a long time to get from one end to the other.
70 miles on a grader.
Well, I plowed all mine. I got stuck a couple times, but I was able to shovel it out and get going again, because it was always in a turnaround. Back in to try to get turned around and she'd settle out.
Yeah, it's been fun plowing now.
Was not.
I saw Larry go by, and thought, man, that doesn't look like fun at all.
That stuff was like cement.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's unreal. But we got over it, and now we're back to the mud season again.
Yep.
I feared it. I don't know how you're gonna finish up the mud season unless something happens there pretty soon. because, the valley is running out of material.
Hmm.
There's one pile left up in Chelsea. And every town and their brother are attacking it, so I don't know how long it's gonna hold up.
Is the frost out of the roads yet?
No,
Seems like it goes-
I would not say,
No.
not everywhere, that's,
I mean, up here, you've got mud to glory, but there's still spots you can scrape right down to the ice.
I was gonna say,
Yeah.
by Peter Buttons, that's hard to rock up through there.
And so, I don't know. We'll talk about it when time comes, if that
You
happens.
got any material left? Stone wise?
Very, very little now. And,
When's the quarry open?
well, it's open now.
Oh, it is.
But that's the problem, it's being taken right out of there.
Yeah, but are they crushing? No,
I don't know.
I thought it was supposed to crush this week, but I don't know.
I heard his crusher broke on him.
No, we took it to DMS, he bought some hydraulic
Oh, that's right, you were telling me about that, yeah.
jacks for it and it wasn't supposed to be up there very long, but you know how that goes.
No, yeah.
And he may not dare bring it back into the pit, you know, down the road there. That might be so bad.
Mill trucks get through and just.
Yeah, it's
the worst
hard.
of it.
Sometimes things don't look good afterwards, but they get there, and they get back. I had one right up here, he was sitting at the top of the hill because he broke a canister.
Mhm.
And he was just getting it fixed and I was coming down. And it was like 4:30 in the afternoon, he was headed to pieces. And that might have been right at, we were getting done plowing. And he said, how's that road up to there? And I said, it ain't that good, but I can't tell you that you can't go, so don't ask me one way or the other. Because you can't stop them, so what are you gonna do?
The trouble is nowadays, a truck milks so far that a lot of times, like my truck is, it's,
Heavy when it gets to you.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's full.
And I think the fuel trucks are all full when they go by there.
Are the roads posted for logging trucks?
Well, yes, they're posted, but it does it does hurt a little when you are only picking on the log.
Yeah,
Okay, but fuel people used to be nice and try to go with half a load or even your grain trucks would try to lighten up, but lately they got chucking it on and just plain go.
right, well, we got a lot of power now, they can do it.
Yeah, that's another thing.
Yeah.
You got 550 horse and whistle right up through no
Yeah.
matter what's there.
You didn't have to go on the low side of the transmission, you can still go. Put an old 366 gas job in it. Get rid
Trying to dictate how much. No.
Yes.
Wait till it's frozen.
Yeah, we can imagine.
Yeah.
Did we wanna talk about the sap truck that we were getting?
Oh, yeah, but we're in the same class unless you found out something I don't.
I didn't, I feel like that, I think we figured last year it was agricultural.
Yeah.
So
There's
there's not
more,
much we can do.
more beating up the roads with a sap truck again.
I got a couple calls from people.
Yeah.
Pretty upset.
They have a 10-wheeler that comes in empty, and when it leaves, all the tanks on board are full.
Yeah,
And she's heavy,
is it that white one
yeah.
that, so they Chase Lock has?
Face law.
I don't know if it's actually that white one, or it's another one just about like it.
But it's a big tank,
But
man, that's,
Is it crossing the bridge?
no, I don't think they can, can they?
Well, they're not crossing the bridge empty that much, I know. I mean, full.
Right.
Slowly, they'll wait, truck too, but I don't know if they come over here.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Whose sap is it?
I don't know.
isn't it, Karen's?
Karen's, yeah. Karen's apparently have a big white truck.
Oh,
everybody's gone white truck,
Yeah.
cheap buyer.
Yeah,
blends in with the snow.
So I sort of. Yeah, I sort of didn't want that because, they listened to our recordings and we just gave them permission to roll out loud.
well, we can say we don't like it.
No, I don't like it. I think they could load lighter. And, I'd rather see them go twice than to put that big squashing machine up through there.
Right,
What road's it on?
But no. Outside of that, I don't really have an awful lot to tell you about. It's, kind of like fix mud and fix mud. And we had a little chance to plow a little something, weren't that nice?
well, Rick Barnaby chewed my ear at the town meeting. Did he chew everybody's ear?
I was listening in two on your ear.
If you think that you're gonna get stuck, why don't you call Lebanon up or somebody and just see if you had to have 10 loads
We
or
can do
something.
that.
I know,
I can honestly tell you that 10 loads drop in the bucket.
That's right.
well, yeah, I'm just
And
saying,
then
I
fill up
don't
the
know.
water.
You're all at a bank run.
No, I still got plenty of bank over there, but, the roads are so wet right this moment that, it's not really helping out to, it just gets totally saturated.
Yeah.
Then it gives up on that. And that's the same thing that happens with the, plant mix. Right there, this year, you just, like, for instance, the other day, it was just valley sprinkling, but you had little streams that were yay wide, yay deep, running right down the road, and it wasn't coming out of the sky.
Right,
It was thawing out on the road, and that's the problem this year. It's rained and rained and rained, and that road is just full of water.
and that bank run doesn't stay put either. It does wash.
If you get that kind of going on, it takes off on you.
Yeah.
But, in some cases, it's the only thing that will settle the darn road, and then if you can get a load of that hard pack right on top of it, then it seems to keep everybody from getting into it, the mud getting back up into it.
But again, Rick was chewing my ear about that, how we're wasting money, and his final quote was, we're not just wasting it, we're flushing it down the toilet. And he demanded we do something different. And it got me thinking that we were talking about at one point, getting some granite from Barry. I mean, maybe if that was feasible, we could hire some trucks and
well,
resurface some section of the road or something.
I talked to Rodney about that the other day, and, maybe we ought to get some, material out of there. And, well, either do a section of road or mix it in with our sand or something.
Well, I was thinking, like, you've always said Dickerman is horrible because it's so shaded up through there. If we wanted to experiment and just do a quarter mile, half mile, or a mile, if we could afford it, just to see what happens.
Yeah,
But that's not today.
I'm all game for that idea, I am, and I probably wanted to put it on thick enough, probably, maybe. I'll have to do the math, figure out how many yards that is, but,
Quite a few.
you start getting over half mile, you're gonna start really putting some money into.
I know.
You're gonna really start putting some money into coming from Barry.
Take a quarter of one, just make sure your ditches are hogged out and you got
Right,
culverts are good and,
to see how it holds up. It's good.
and,
And if we-
lay on 6 inches or something.
But
But I was thinking the other day that if we could do a mile a year, we don't want to take us 70 years to get it done. Then
That's good.
then we'd have to start again.
That's
Well,
good thinking.
you, I don't care what anybody has to tell you, but you will start again within 10 years.
We won't have time.
It's in your lifetime, you're gonna do it again.
You will start doing that, the first of that 70 within 10 years easy.
Yeah.
I've seen it, and I know that you'll get approximately 5 really good years. And then you'll get, because it's just like putting out the blacktop here, we call it a 10-year plan. You get 5 really good years, and then you get 5 more that are kind of lumpy, but you're gonna have them anyhow.
I agree.
Oh, you know the roads, Rodney, I mean, if you take bitumen or potash, I mean, they're pretty much bad the whole way, or is it, are there certain roads where there's just like, right, there's 100 yards, it's bad, or 100 feet or something that
Right.
if you could just, right, dig it out and put some really heavy stones in, I
Yeah.
don't know if that would be.
Years ago, when you could count on the weather being weather,
Yeah.
it would start on this end of town, and it would creep its way up through town. And that side where the sun hit would be the first to go bad, and by the time that was getting good, so people could use that side of the town, then the other half, like, Button Hill would always go bad first.
Yeah,
And then that would be getting really good,
Like
and
sugar
then
bridges.
potash would be getting bad.
yeah,
But the way the heat's been
Well, that's the way-
lately, it's all everywhere.
That's like, my side deal, we always. Pipe road would go out, so you went up and down the dugout. And then when
Was
that
it
started
colder?
going out, then high road would be stiffened up again, so you could go up and down that way. And then this year, both of them are bad.
But this year, it started right out in January, that the cold pockets were absolutely nasty.
yeah.
So, maybe, I know when I first started working for the town, the first 2 years, absolutely horrible mud. And then it holds itself here. And now it seems to be back in a swing that was something not so nice.
So maybe the pendulum will swing the other way again.
Maybe,
A lot of water.
Yeah.
That's,
but my prediction is we got at least 1 more year before it starts swinging.
Yeah. Okay, write that down. How many years have you been working for the town?
What is it, 28? 29, somewhere there.
I thought it was 29.
It's been quite a ride, I can tell you that.
Well, back to business, or didn't you say Pickett was gonna make some,
He's made a little bit, and like I told him tomorrow morning, I'm gonna get up and drive through the backside and this and that, and see if there's anything over there that warrants some work. And tomorrow morning, we're probably gonna fix that again. And then that brings some of his pick right up over Marnet.
Mhm.
And do what we have to do.
just a little bit there?
And he's got a little bit, he asked if I wanted to do some trucking yesterday, and I said, I would rather you make some material tomorrow, I mean, today.
Yeah.
And so yesterday, we made material, and today he did some trucking for me. Because, it's first come, first serve up there, and the serving, I think, either runs out today or tomorrow on the good stuff, on the big stuff. Well, but I do think we're gonna pitch out one more time, and that is, one day, we need to get more serious about having a rock pile of our own.
Mhm.
Because, if you gotta bring it in from Barry, it certainly is, or, so, down in Lebanon, White River, we need to get more serious with
Right.
how to sustain our own area.
Right, just burn a lot of fuel.
I mean. I know these trucks cost us tons of money to keep them on the road, but they get beat bad. These roads are, you said something about a little rough coming over here. Take one of them through there. It's not good. It's hard to keep them on the ground.
Yep.
You know. And if you try to smooth it up too early, it don't mount to nothing, so it might even make things a little worse.
Right.
And so, that's kind of a problem too, is, you know, I don't want anybody driving on rough roads, but, if I go and try to help you out and it turns to a mud hole tomorrow, I didn't do nobody no good.
That's what Matt was saying when he was hauling for you, like you'd go through some sections that would make it worse with the dump truck, so then
Oh, yeah.
why are we on the road, right?
But the problem is, way over in that far corner, and all traffic has stopped because there's no road there.
Right.
And so you gotta go there and get things going again. It does make what was looking really good, not so great looking.
I got some 5-gallon jugs over there. Not like to clean up.
It's for Sharon. Very good, thank you.
Well, she does have a different dish, I mean, cut
I
today.
do. I'm trendy, you know, this is a trendy cover.
That's Stanley.
It is.
It's in
I
it.
got it long for.
Yeah, that's in it.
Oh, really?
Maybe you said it.
I did, I made a friend,
Mm.
just water, nothing special.
I don't believe it.
It's one of those,
Something.
Can we smell
no, it's that stuff I had last time, that electrolyte replacement stuff.
What is it?
It's raspberry, I know, but you guys pick on me, so I have to say it's just
No
water,
cucumber in it.
no cucumbers. Raspberry flavored
Just
stuff.
stick to your word, yeah, never know.
No.
There you go. All right, well, if that's all you got, I guess you can leave.
You got the one ton and Thomas's running again, or are they still?
They're both up and going again. It just, that took time to, you know, Lucky's had one piece and, our trustee, Royal Auto, was able to make me a piece.
Wow.
And so, it was up and going again, but it was, but during the storm, down is down, you know, you can't find no way to do anything and, you don't have time to do anything. We never even went after Thomas' truck till everybody was all done with everything else. Just shut it off where it was and that was a done deal. So. I kind of racked my brain on how the heck we're gonna make things better, but, nothing is, too awful easy in this, trying to figure out how you're gonna get some stone coming. So. I guess we just need to do a little harder thinking on what we could do.
We could use some sand too,
We could. No doubt about it.
sand somewhere in Tunbridge.
Yep. But what about your sand plow? You don't wanna get rid of that? I mean, I know we aren't done with winter yet.
It never goes, it's not, so everybody understands. It never is always that,
I see that.
it's never always
Turn around,
that
whatever you do. right?
good. It's never all that good, but, it doesn't go bad, so therefore, I feel that if we try to leave it alone as much as possible. For a year, that's nothing more than ice, 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 ice. Or snow, 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 snow. We're protected.
So you don't wanna use it then?
I don't want to.
Okay, that's the plan.
It's an asset.
Yeah,
But I didn't know why I don't want to use it.
yeah.
I feel it's better in the pile and be safer down the road.
Well, you could use what McCullough's old theory is, just leave the roads alone and don't worry about it, they'll dry up.
I've told you 100 times, if not more. If that's what you folks want, you just let me know.
Yeah. Well, I guess you can honor it.
There's a hunting season somewhere.
Because it's like the people that wanted me to tell them they couldn't go on the road with the school bus. I am not gonna be the one that says they can't go on the road with the school bus.
Yeah,
I sort of feel if the cars are still going, you can go. And,
oh geez, look at Fred. That's sangria?
He just got back from Mexico.
Cinco de
Is
Mayo,
that
there.
poncho or?
Yeah. So, one last thing,
Probably snuck
I
across.
don't know if you guys got a Timothy James Howe called one night and said his,
Oh, no.
he had a car that was. Not going anywhere on down Park.
His car?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And wondered what to do, because it was, you know, if there was an emergency or something, so what is our policy when? You know, in our endless mud seasons now, when someone gets just buried and sort of walks away from their car, do we?
Because there's been quite a few cars posted, or like pictures posted that have been left on the roads.
Timothy James now.
yeah, his car was there.
Yeah, somebody came, I guess a pickup came along and bumped him to the side, and then it froze in, he couldn't get it out then.
Oh, I was gonna say, the car was out of the way,
Yeah.
enough so I could get by it.
Right,
So
well,
I-
luckily, because it would have been frozen
Yeah,
right in the road the next day.
Sunday when it snowed, one right in the middle of the hill right up here. No, one right in the middle right here,
Up here.
and, it was one of them electric cars down on, which I don't know if we should allow them in town if they can't be towed at night.
Electric car?
Yeah,
Why can't it be towed?
I don't know, the state police called me and said that, a Tesla car was stuck on, Russellville.
Yeah.
And, couldn't find nobody would hitch onto it and move it.
Really?
And, she went on to say, even at night, we can't even get people to come out and get them off the highway, throughway.
Hmm.
And so it was, that thing got stuck in the middle of the night and it was right there until 10 o'clock in the morning.
Huh.
Cause I certainly was not touching it.
Right.
Will they explode or something?
There must be something like that.
Yeah. Your Tesla was not.
No, I didn't have any problem.
Didn't have any of mine either. But you could have bought a nice Tesla pretty cheap down to, Springfield. They were practically giving them away there.
There's one
They
there,
were
Russell,
used.
that Russell Road, there was one.
You knew that was yours.
Yeah, yeah, should leave the key in it, whenever they start.
Okay.
Well, we never had a policy about that, so I don't know what to do.
Yeah. We should ask Brenda, because it's emergency more than anything.
Right.
Because if you had a fire and you had to get by a
Right,
vehicle in the middle of the road, that would be a problem.
I expect that we should probably try to cover ourselves, so if we have to move it, that we are not reliable for it.
Mhm.
But it's not much different than a big tree falls down, the road's blocked.
Yeah, right.
but the trouble with, like an old, my pickup, you could just fit underneath it and hook a chain to it and snap it out. But these new cars, you can't do that, there's nothing to hook to.
Nothing to hook to.
You have to get that fancy
Plus-
little loop thing.
Plus they're laying right on the ground. that
Right.
way.
Right, yeah.
Yeah,
And
Austin,
if you
we,
damage it, right, the owner would be like, what are you doing?
Austin Wheatley said there was one up on the top of Eagle Peak, the same thing happened, the guy got crossway of the road, and he spun it right down till it was laying on the road and walked off, and Austin come up through the town truck next morning and froze. And he said the mud was right through the wheels and stuff, and he said the only way you're gonna get that out of there is in pieces. He just turned around and got out of there, but
Close the road.
Can you ask the league, maybe?
Mhm. I'm trying to look it up right now.
Go get your sombrero. and
Yeah,
kick
join
back
Fred.
here.
Alright, you guys are done.
thank you.
Yeah, well, see you later.
Stop it.
Looks like it, yeah, looks like Mexican food.
Taco Tuesday.
Mexican name.
6 25, select board chair, vice chair, secretary.
I'm happy with the way things are right now.
You gotta
I
make
make a motion that we stay in our, appointed chairs, our
appointed positions.
appointed positions.
Am I the clerk or secretary?
What would you like to be called? Your
Uh,
choice. You would like to be clerk? O'Brien Okay.
Remain clerk.
would like to be called the clerk and not the secretary.
I really would like to be, chair. But I
Okay.
got to thinking about it, and
It's being recorded.
when the TV trucks pulled in here. And they asked her where the chair was, she'd say on the backside of Tunbridge, and they'd say, how do you get there? And she'd say, I don't have any idea.
I didn't know exactly.
And so she'd be doing all the interviews, and I don't know if that's a good thing or
The
not.
secretary would be the interviews.
I've already had my TV moment to shine, so I'll pass it
What was
along.
that?
It was
Oh, she,
just a follow-up to the town meeting, policing.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I got cornered by CAX.
Yeah.
You were on TV?
I was, yeah.
uh,
I was just saying that my select board was wonderful at listening to the townspeople's, you know.
yeah, you were all doing stuff.
We did too.
For me.
It was about 3 seconds long.
I'm your spokesperson.
Hey,
The Tunbridge select board.
I think she's working up for a raise.
Yeah, exactly.
Another position, so we gotta fund that.
Do I have a second on the motion?
I second.
Okay, all in favor of the motion,
Status quo.
please say aye.
Bye.
And we need to appoint
Yeah, we gotta,
who else? I mean, we gotta make sure that,
make sure Eliza Manucci.
yes.
Yeah, which, yeah, she
Screen up coordinator.
always has been, but
Did I tell you my, story with her?
Sorry about that.
Well, when she was up in front of us. Talking at town meeting. She had a. Airplane on a t-shirt, and then under it said 1941 or something, I couldn't see it.
Right, that's not.
And she turned it in and she had this big white. Square with a D in it. And I said, well, I just read about that in that book I was telling you about, with D-17. So after the meeting, I said, I see a t-shirt, you know. And she said, yeah, we got a TV show, Masters of the Air or something. And I said, she said it was a book, and I said, well, I just read a book, The Wing and a Prayer. Yeah, so that was my grandfather. He wrote that book.
Are you kidding? What a coincidence.
Yeah, and she said he lived to be really old, so she knew him.
And he was in World War II in one of those planes.
Yeah, he wrote that book that I read,
Oh, right.
and, yeah. He was a navigator, and he went on, and he trained other people, but he went on like 30
Yeah,
bombing missions
Yeah.
and stuff. Yeah,
that's amazing.
yeah, but when they come out with this Masters of the Air TV show, they invited her family down to the opening, and they gave them t-shirts
Oh.
and stuff. Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Masters of the Air.
Yeah, yeah, I looked it up, it's on HBO or something like
They
that.
made a show.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, kind of blew my mind.
Are you here to be constable? No, control officer? What's your pleasure?
None of the above.
She's next. She wants me to appoint something. Hi, Brendan.
There's trouble.
This one wants to be appointed.
She wants to be the animal controller.
Oh, we're appointing Eliza Manucci as green update coordinator.
Yep.
And then I think the only other positions that we really needed were the constables, but again, we don't have anybody. We got rid of town agent, Judy's our secret town agent.
Yeah.
And then. Do we need to have, what is it, the ADA coordinator, is that another position?
Yeah. And then like. Yeah, solid waste management district.
Mhm.
position, so-
Yeah, that's,
I'm hoping that and when Grow like his job so much that he would
Do
do
that.
that too.
He likes politics.
Yeah,
Have we heard from him lately?
On Saturday.
He didn't know it.
yeah, he really likes his job, he just kind of gets some more lights for the evening times, of course, now the time has changed, he probably doesn't need them.
Yeah.
He wants to put up a bulletin board to put down what's recyclable and what's not, and.
We're still going for you.
No, we changed
We
it.
did,
This
back
is
to Porter's house.
tomorrow's first day.
Okay. Is that on the website?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, Mike sent me a message and then, I have Jeff put it on there.
And he said that the little shack is not getting any better shape, so he's got some ideas about that.
Fix that up.
He said he could buy another shack online or something like that for not too much money. And it'd be more efficient and burn so much fuel to keep it warm, because he said right now we can't really keep it warm in it, so.
No. We could do a timber harvest on town forest and build a shack.
We have some lumber.
That's true.
We have extra lumber. Yeah,
See that?
we actually do, we have extra lumber. All right, so all the other people that are in positions are okay, and keeping the same.
What is the job description of constable, like if you could find it, it's like. This,
So I had, remember last year,
Just,
we had, you had asked me to reach out to the league about not having a constable.
right,
So I still have all of that information that I had gotten from the league's attorney from last
okay,
year.
you should,
They don't have any formal position on having a constable. That we should do what works best for them, whether that includes electing or appointing one or two constables. Giving them of their ability to exercise law. Permitting them to exercise law enforcement authority. If they've done a training, we can elect them, we can appoint them, we can completely eliminate them if we want to. So we don't have to.
statutorily, we're not responsible.
Right.
I mean, if we go with. You know, police organization, but I would think they could do a lot of, and they're trained, they would do a lot of this stuff, I don't know if they'll do. The dog, stray dog eating chickens, but. A lot of stuff, I would feel a lot better with trained
Yeah,
deputies, you know, going to somebody with a nasty dog and.
yeah.
A citizen.
So we can just leave the constable positions open for now.
Right, I think so.
So the only thing that they do say about that, if we keep them, that we have to. The law requires that we fill the vacancy forthwith. It doesn't define exactly what forthwith means. It could mean
3 years.
immediately without delay or directly promptly within a reasonable time under the circumstances.
So we could move just to get rid of them would be better than having a
Yeah.
vacant, right?
Well,
You know any towns that have done,
I don't buy that.
that? Maybe next meeting,
put it on a future agenda.
Sure.
get rid of constables once and for all.
Yeah.
well, if we can't get one,
Right.
Right. And we're somewhat liable by having it vacant.
And by the 1st of July, then we'll have the more money to spend and we'll be hiring. Perhaps Windsor County to actually do policing.
Yeah. We could ask them
Yep.
if they, the things that constables used to do, I mean, not guard the ballot box, but.
Right.
But some of those sort of sticky
yeah, they serve
neighbor to
papers,
neighbor
right?
type things, yeah.
All right, next.
How many we got?
Yep.
So one thing. We gotta avoid is what happened with the. With the appropriations, like the. The conservation district
Mhm.
did everything right and was gonna cut out because they didn't have a report, so can new. Organizations that are applying, can they have? Some sort of report in there, because it sounded like, and this is it, it's only returning ones who get to like put a report in there, so then it looked like they didn't care.
Yeah, I was confused about that, and maybe too, if we could have it more clearly written out, like. If you're a first time person applying, this is exactly what you need to get on this.
Yeah. But I feel badly for that.
Not only that, but who is responsible for making sure they get in the town report? because they come into the office and then you get them,
So,
somebody and.
a lot of times, it depends, so sometimes they come to me, sometimes they just go to Anissa. And sometimes, like, I always send them to her, she's the one who's in charge of the appropriation, so whether or not they come to me, I send them to her, and then she's the one who sorts them out.
Yeah.
So I guess I will just work
She has
with
a
her.
file of.
Yeah,
requests.
yeah, so, and I keep whatever I get here, and then we kind of drive them together and say, we look at like the list from last year, and make sure we have all the ones, but.
But what about like that Great Dane rescue that we decided that we wouldn't even put it in?
Yeah, so that just came to me, I sent it to her, she said, she turned it down and said that it had to go to you because she didn't think it was like a reasonable request.
Yeah.
And then it was ultimately your choice to put it on the appropriation.
So we could add that perhaps to the policy too.
Right.
Yeah, because what happens if Anissa thinks a lot of Great Danes and,
Right, yeah,
and then it would get in there.
right. Or those sorts of things, where somebody's like, oh, you just write a report and you get money.
Right. So we need to tighten that up for sure.
Or either select board approval, or it has to meet some standard of it's beneficial to the people of Tunbridge.
Yes,
Because
yeah.
that one wasn't even, that was like Net River, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was like northern
Right.
Vermont.
Yeah, that's hero or something.
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
And the thing I don't wanna see again, and it probably will anyway, is the big confusion about what was right in the warning, but it wasn't right on the spreadsheet, the numbers. And I had it all in my head, and then of course, once I got to town meeting, it all went away.
Yeah.
We'll try to, the board, try to be more on top of that.
Yeah, maybe even if we
Well,
have like a couple days
Think
before
what
town meeting,
happened was.
we like,
Handout or something.
Well,
we had to
or
get
five of us
something
get
from
together and
Nessa,
meet.
right?
Right.
And then we changed to
yeah,
that,
okay, well, listen to me.
and so.
Right,
I had that feeling
Members
that Becky
didn't
wasn't
get in.
there.
right.
It's like, oh,
All the same,
But for us, at pre-town meeting, that became apparent. And then if I'd have had it written down, it wouldn't have been so bad.
right.
Just working from memory, that didn't work.
Yeah.
And then it was the noise ordinance, I think it was, where people got off track. And Izzy maybe is more responsible than us on that part of it. But it kind of got convoluted and people. Instead of, the question was, do you want the select board to go forward with the noise ordinance? And it wasn't. We don't want to listen to you.
Go forward exploring it. right, Yeah.
We don't care if you want to burn your chainsaw at 7 o'clock in the morning right now.
Yeah, that was a hard one. It was, I think people aren't clear what they're voting for.
Yeah, so we just need to be more clear about that. And then you had something, you want to slide over here?
Oh, sure.
Here, but not here.
Or you want a great venue? Yeah, absolutely. I'm gonna go under saddle, you know? Yeah, by the way, I totally agree about the whole noise ordinance thing, and nobody knew it in the end. It just got so off track. And I think language is really important. This is definitely one of the things I wanted to bring up. Because saying, well, are you voting for the select board to go forward with the noise ordinance can easily be interpreted as, oh, then we have a noise ordinance, not go forward with investigating further and getting more public comment. So I think that language is an important piece to look at when putting things like that out. Speaking of putting things out, that's why I'm here. So when I arrived to check in at town meeting, at the official check-in with Helen, on that table were several things that I personally don't think belonged there. One of them looked to be something official. It said proposal town of Tunbridge on it. And so I picked it up thinking it had something to do with something that was going to be discussed by you all at town meeting, only to find it was 4 pages of another citizen's concerns. And whether or not I agree with them is really not relevant. And it did not belong there, because placing that stuff on the official table where people are voters are being checked in, gives people the idea, especially when something is titled in a way that makes you think something is legit when it's not. If people want to, whatever weird proposal they may have from either end of the spectrum, doesn't belong there. Bring a card table, set up your own table with your own placards, your own handouts, whatever it is. It does not belong on the same table with official business. because it gives people the idea that somehow it is official.
Mhm.
And I thought it was extremely misleading, and until you went 4 pages in and looked at who had typed it up and put it there, you didn't even realize that it wasn't something that the town was putting out for people to look at. So just like the library has their own table or whatever, have a community table where if you, whatever thing you want to put, Great Dane rescues, or this particular issue that I'm referring to, that had to do with illegal voting, whatever it may be, people can put their stuff on that table where people are free to drift by and pick up whatever they want. But I think that there should be something about that so that things that are not official town business should not be with official town business.
That brings up an interesting point too of how, like, we don't let people with political messages go into polling places
Right.
and.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
Like,
And it-
both town meeting and a presidential primary is going on, so at
Mhm.
what point when you go into the.
Where's
gym-
the line?
Right,
Yeah,
exactly,
yeah.
yeah.
and maybe that community table needs to be outside the gym in
I
the
think that
corridor,
makes more
for
sense.
example,
Yeah.
which would make a lot more sense.
And it seemed like we had a lot of handouts this year too, you know, like, we printed up one about legal trails, but we also had surveys from Gifford and
Mhm.
all this other
Yep.
stuff that they wanted, that kind of did end up getting, you know, really
Mhm.
smushed on that table, so. I think that's a good idea going forward.
Great, that was what I wanted to share.
Thanks for sharing.
We don't really have the staff to be always looking,
No,
somebody comes in and just, you know. puts down a
Mhm.
file.
And so maybe whoever's working at that table or whatever, if someone says, oh, can I leave this here? They know ahead of time, there's the community table out there. This is where that stuff goes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but I just thought it was really misleading. As far as regardless of the content, it was misleading to have that where it was.
Yeah,
yeah, and I was a little like surprised about seeing the titling that, you know.
Yeah, the title made it
said,
look
no,
like it
okay.
was, I mean, it, you know, and I usually think I'm fairly good at picking up
Yeah.
what I'm looking at, but I mean, I looked at it and I said, oh, this looks interesting, and you know, Gary hadn't said anything about this
Yeah.
proposal, and I went, whoa, wait a minute. The first paragraph in after I circled the 500 spelling errors.
Yeah.
Yeah, so anyway, I just wanted to bring that up, and that's it.
Sorry.
And I'm going home, and I will see the select board chair when he gets home.
Right. Sit down.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, Andy.
this, could you, for example, protest at. A town.
You can, there's a lot of, yeah, there's a lot of limits as to like distance from the polling place. You know, like nobody could put their signs in the property that the polling place is, like they have to be across the street. They can be in the polling place, but they can't wear any of their stuff, like you can't wear a hat in,
Right.
you can't have a shirt.
So
So,
the same rules that apply to like a general election and
Correct.
the town hall
Yeah.
apply to,
Like
yeah,
the State of the Union address.
right?
Right,
Well, yeah, I mean, I just wondered if like somebody went in and said like. Israel out of Gaza, you know, with a
mhm,
placard or something.
yeah,
I think that'd be disturbing the peace of some
Yeah.
Right,
sort.
yeah, even though it's a freedom of speech thing, I would think we
Right.
would have enough. Enough jurisdiction to tell them to go outside.
I think so too.
And especially during a town meeting,
It's a
because,
constable's job.
well, during a town meeting, I mean, you're supposed to be recognized by the
Moderator.
moderator, and so if you just spoke out, you wouldn't be recognized.
Right, yeah,
So you're out of line.
but that, you know, you can see there's a lot of potential gray areas if somebody was running for a town office, you know, and was handing out postcards, vote for me. you
Yeah.
know,
We had
That, at the meeting, is that?
we had a guy do that at town meeting
guy.
one year at Brookfield, but he was outside the school,
Yeah,
you know, as people came in.
right,
But he wasn't, you know, he wasn't right in there,
right, well.
but I don't even know if that was legal or not.
Yeah, it sounds it, I think, but it just, I think people forget that. It's a polling place
Right.
as well as a public meeting,
Right,
and that's the weird thing, because the general election, it's not a public meeting going on, it's just you vote.
Right, even the August primary, well. we'll leave it.
Right, whereas town meeting is a public meeting that,
Right.
that freedom of speech is certainly important
Mhm.
there, so I don't know how that quite works, but.
But there are rules, of freedom, so. So treat. Any more criticisms or comments about town meeting?
Oh, did you see Victoria? Acorn?
Yes,
Yeah.
that is in your packet, if you wanted to look at it, I printed off that, I printed off that fund balance policy that the town of Londonderry
Mhm.
has. If we wanted to do something similar.
I am confused, maybe you guys can
Probably no.
tell me what, but. How is it when we, a couple years, right, running, we had surpluses, we knew the amount. And we put it on the
Yeah,
article, and this
well-
year it seems like,
Becky kept saying, I don't know if we're gonna have one, I don't know if we're gonna have one.
so how did that work
I
in
don't-
previous years?
I don't know.
Like, I couldn't answer that question.
No.
Like, we had a very specific amount.
Right.
Yeah.
So we could say, like, we're gonna put half into reducing taxes and half for this fund. This year, it's just like, if we do have a surplus.
Wasn't it something to do with the ARPA vote?
Might have to do with the FEMA, money coming in.
No, it seemed like by this time of the year, we knew about
Right.
surplus.
Right. Which I don't
Was it the year
understand.
before?
Oh.
Was it?
hmm,
But didn't,
Is it,
I still think it had something to do with the ARPA.
I think so too, I think like, I think it was kind of both of what you're saying, I think it might have been like the year before surplus.
Yeah.
That then rolled over and then you knew what it was and then you could vote on
Yeah.
it, but because we cleared it all out with ARPA. We moved every
Oh,
single piece of
yeah.
surplus and now we're kind of starting from
Because,
scratch.
So we-
because we shouldn't know until the 1st of
That's
July.
what.
Right.
Right.
But I think it did have to do with that.
Yeah. Yeah,
Turning that.
yeah,
excess
because we
ARPA.
turned that,
So we did have a surplus, but it's already been taken care of.
right,
Mhm.
And now, it wasn't it Becky wanted us to vote on that article this year so that we wouldn't have to go back to the taxpayers in the
Yeah.
next town meeting?
something.
So we
like
could
that.
actually take care of that before town meeting. Placing the money.
With this year's surplus,
This
but then I
current-
think we'll be in the same position next year that we won't know if we'll have surplus or not, because we already moved. This fiscal year's surplus, which is what we would have voted on next March.
Yep.
So that's confusing as well.
But I think that's what I thought this article was about, was just this one year of 2024.
Or are we all this one a year ahead? Like, we should wait until
Yeah, we should wait.
there's a general
Year.
fund surplus
Till the year.
on July
after.
first and then vote it,
Right,
right?
cause I don't see how you could. Have a specific amount this time of year.
Yeah.
You know,
No,
cause you don't know what's gonna
Right,
happen next
yeah.
week.
4 months to go.
Yeah.
But the vote at town meeting was to allow us, we the select board,
Right,
to
to deal with
to deal with it instead of having to go to the taxpayers.
it, so we could do it in July,
Yes. I mean, July 1st or 10th or whatever.
right,
But is that sort of bad policy according to?
According to what Victoria said, it was just that. She said. That you're talking about the article, that, you know, she didn't think that there was anything wrong with you guys have made a great choice, but. In future, we should always keep no less than 5% up to 15% of the. Surplus in the general fund, so that like if some unforeseen thing came up,
Oh,
yeah, we would have like enough money to cover it, we would have to pull it out of like a different. You know, like, I think we put it in a disaster fund, and then we can pull it out of that, but this is just a policy saying that we've always maintained 5 to 15%.
Yeah.
If it happens.
That would make more consistency over the years with different select board members being on,
Right,
I would think.
which is kind of what she was saying.
Yeah.
Just because you guys are great, doesn't mean that 15 years from now, the next select board will be
Mhm.
as great, so.
No, better.
But then you have a contingency fund plus the disaster relief fund too, and
I don't know why you couldn't have both.
Right, but
Because
would we have to create a contingency fund like we always do with these funds at town meeting?
unless putting in the disaster fund was okay,
Right, just to bank it there.
yeah. Because it's up to the select board to use the money however we see fit, I mean,
Right.
those different funds,
Well, look at me.
so I think we're okay, but.
But should we adopt a policy though? But. That's what the league recommends?
That's what Victoria was recommending from, the Government Finance Officers Association recommends for fund balance policies. And then she showed a example from the town of Londonderry.
Uh-huh.
It's just a safeguard against conditions that could result in the town developing a fund deficient, like a deficiency deficit.
How about? I guess I'd like to read this.
Yeah.
Maybe
I mean,
And maybe the league has an idea on it too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is from,
We could act on it next meeting.
and it's interesting, just at the legislature today, we were talking about something called the Clean Water Fund, which is. Or, you know, like the TMDLs for. But so agriculture has to do a certain amount of getting phosphorus out of here, which they like this here, but they have. It was like a 10% contingency fund.
Yeah.
For that reason, just to level out the sort of ups and downs of
Right.
revenue.
Makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah, no one's ever sorry that they put money aside and afford it.
I always like to find that extra $100 on my wallet that I didn't know I had.
so. For right now, Brenda and Dave, well, if you're moving on to the next.
Well, yeah, they're just gonna ask if anybody had anything
Well,
anything else.
We have our emergency fund and stuff like that, wouldn't that do the same thing as this?
It can be the same thing.
Yeah, is that what we actually have? I don't recall an emergency fund, or is it? Or did we call it?
Is that $2,500? Is that the one you're talking about?
Oh, maybe.
2,000?
The one-
That was-
$1,000.
What do you want?
Up around.
Right,
Yeah,
Oh, I was thinking of the money we put in,
The FEMA
flood.
replacement, fund, right?
yeah,
What's that fund
that
called?
we had 150.
The Ronnie wanted to get it.
that's it.
Isn't it like a disaster?
Yeah. Something, yeah. But what,
That one's pretty much drained right now.
Yeah.
We're waiting for FEMA. to
well, we're
repay.
replenishing the FEMA things. But Brenda wanted that emergency fund,
it's in there. It should still be in there.
right?
It's not very much. You just have to name them all different stuff, I guess. So you know which emergency fund we're talking about.
Right.
It should be in there for, it's about $2,000,
At the very back of the general fund, I think it is. Is that a fund?
Emergency preparedness, $3,000.
Yeah,
Yeah, that should be it.
That's under public safety. I think that the one we're talking about, the disaster one, I think that's under highway.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Oh,
So back through and,
yeah. The first day it was on there.
We have a disaster relief fund and that has $25,000 in it.
because we appropriated that, but that was.
I think so, yeah.
Emergency right here.
Yeah.
3,000.
But that's for something different.
Yeah.
yeah, well, that's interesting, emergencies. Where we need a, what, emergency command center or what,
Yeah, maybe you could call it the EOC Emergency Fund, Emergency Operating Center.
That would be
Yeah.
better.
EOC Emergency
Right.
Fund.
so we need a different. To do what Victoria wants us to do, we need a different category.
That was way up to almost 150, wasn't it?
150,
What's it showing there?
25,000.
Zero,
Mhm.
but we moved 25,000 into it.
Right.
Okay, so it's not there yet.
Right,
July 1st.
right.
Or
Right.
thereabouts from the government.
It'll stay on top of
But
that.
I wonder when. Be interested to talk to Becky or Marianne about what we expect to get reimbursed from FEMA in the next,
What or when?
well, how much and potentially when?
Oh, gosh,
Like, are we
400,000 or something,
Yeah.
because we got 300 on the bridge, the culvert up by Tuttle's,
that we're still due?
yeah,
Yeah,
and then it must have.
Well, how did we pay for $400,000?
we got a dime, I believe, from them.
Yeah, I know,
Well, we didn't have to pay for it all either, did we? Did the state pay for some?
yeah,
Because we didn't have
Oh.
$400,000 just sitting around, that's for sure.
what FEMA was supposed to pay for that, though.
Well, it's supposed to pay for all of it,
But
Except the land, right?
yeah, except for the, whatever, thing.
I think between all of our different funds, they're gonna-
How we make, the troops, we paid for that.
We didn't,
Well, we didn't have 400,000.
did it actually cost us that much, $400,000
It was 280 or something.
for the bridge?
the bridge, but
Yeah,
culvert.
yeah, we paid for that.
We did,
Yeah,
the state didn't put any money in it?
Unless-
Where do you get the money?
No,
We had it,
I think we did.
well,
we had that much, I thought we.
I think if we had like bridge replacement fund, we had like some money.
well, between that and like Becky was gonna take some out of
Other places.
other places to make it
For
her
paving.
paving fund, and I had 145 or something like that, and then, so I think it's just basically Robert need to
Right.
pay off.
But now we're broke and we haven't been paid back.
Yeah. Besides, oh, we gotta make this adopt the declaration of inclusion.
Guess I'm gonna have to take my phone.
Well, I had told Brenda and they can hop in and talk about their racing stuff.
All right, so let's do that first, then let's change the order. Brendan Dave,
What if we don't wanna listen to?
Do what we do.
Well, then you just voted in inclusion, so you're going to have to.
They didn't vote, they're constant.
Haven't got to it yet.
So we want to add Bob Childs and Anissa to our Emergency Services Committee, with your permission.
Well, say that again. Steve.
Bob Childs and Anissa, add them to the Emergency Services Committee for the police study.
Are we down to?
No, we started out with one, me and Brenda. I'm building a team. We want,
The initial team is down.
So
The
we're
one that we had a
actually
few
up
years
three.
ago, you're exactly right, we're down, so we've replaced,
So now we'd be at full strength.
yes.
yeah, to be four, that's as far as we intend to go.
perfect,
So with your permission,
yes, well, I
I
think so.
make a motion, we add Anissa and Bob Giles to the emergency.
So it's a total of 4.
Yeah.
Dave, Brenda, Mrs. Bob.
I think,
All right, all in favor, say aye. Aye. You're good to go.
yeah, so we're gonna be meeting with Loretta and with Sheriff Palmer. Some meeting just to ask some questions and
Yeah.
fine tune this a little bit more and then come
Good.
back to you. With a recommendation, hopefully. By next month
Oh, good,
for the short term.
yeah, because
And-
July 1st will be here before we know it.
Yeah, and Brenda and I jumped on a call with the select board group that's looking at revitalizing Orange County.
Good,
And, you know, Brenda, you can jump into this. That's a long road.
yeah.
There's some very
Few
good people.
Select board people there, and good people there.
Yeah, no, it was a good group, but
is that the one John Freitag's for?
yeah.
Yes.
And it's a Holly Grochner, I think, from Corinth, who's running the meetings, and she's super sharp.
Mhm.
So it's a good thing. We've asked the sheriff to come back next month and tell us what his plan is.
Mhm.
You know, what do you want to do?
Retire.
I don't know.
He's not running, and I agree with you, Gary, he. You know.
Yeah.
Probably the best thing would have a plan go forward, but whatever we end up recommending. That's down the road, whatever Orange County does, it's gonna be a year. To
Right.
us, it was clear it was a year or two out before they had anything viable
Right,
to present to us.
Yeah, it's a 9 month, there are 9 meetings once a month.
yeah,
There's a full agenda, it's well organized, but you've got an outgoing sheriff. You know, with a track record.
Yeah.
And then somebody else is gonna come in.
You know, we like that,
This
but
is a,
This is,
this is a big one, and I don't know if there's chance
Right.
of success with it.
I wish them
I
well.
think we need an immediate solution.
Right,
Some of the stuff that did come out of it though is they had a guy from the League of Cities and Towns there, a man I actually know fairly well. He was my instructor, he's been police chief in Barry, South Burlington, Trevor Whipple.
oh yeah, I know,
Yeah,
Oh,
great guy.
yeah.
Great guy. So he was pointing out that when we pick somebody, he's willing to look at our policy, what we put together, because he said you definitely want to have some things in there about liability.
Right.
You want to have the town signed off. He's fairly clear about stuff like that.
Yeah.
So whatever we end up stealing from anybody else that we look at, or we come up with to present to you, we probably should run it past Trevor.
yeah, oh yeah, absolutely.
do we have a. Policy or ordinance or whatever for the speed limit stuff,
we don't,
didn't we talk about
We
that
did.
once?
yeah,
So
Loretta was the one, she brought up that
So that
you
we
were
get-
lacking in
we get
having
the
your policy.
phones,
Speed limits.
Yeah.
For sure.
It's handwritten, I've seen it. You have a policy on the website for speed limits, it's handwritten.
I think that's just for the back roads. I'll double check one,
Town highway, right.
yeah,
Oh, probably because we have the speed limit signs, we
Yeah.
have to have something to do with that.
yeah. I'll double check.
I have a question. You guys haven't set your heart on any particular one?
Why
Yeah.
not?
What was that? Yes?
He said he has.
Yes. So how much should we do? Looking at this, have you already made your mind up what you want to go with?
Why
We,
not?
we as the board haven't, no.
Okay,
I mean, I'd like to hear your input too. Can you ask about a noise ordinance too?
yes.
Just their experience with that. I don't know if Royalton has one, but I'm sure some towns in Winter County.
Yes.
You know, we had at the recent meeting, you had the sheriff here and Loretta was here, and I personally thought his presentation was very good about his staffing, about
Yeah.
Jackson Howe being in town, about their equipment, their training. And I have great respect for Loretta and what she does. I just don't know if they have the resources.
Right.
To respond, and
Yeah, those are questions we want to ask them,
Right,
because I think she has an answer for it. She's not a salesperson. I think the sheriff's, my hesitation, sheriff's departments, if they take off like this, they usually get a salesperson up front that sells you on what they're trying to. get
Because
with
he
it.
makes more as he builds his
Exactly.
contracts.
As he
So
builds his
that's the
kingdom.
kingdom, that's-
incentive potentially for
Right.
Windsor County to look to expand and.
And they are a kingdom unto themselves.
No.
is-
Yeah.
So some caution, we definitely got some input at the town meeting, you know, people who weren't quite as eager beaver about sheriff's departments.
Right, yeah.
Because of past stuff. And I have to, you know, it's worth looking into and really buttoning that up. What's nice is if we look at what Chelsea did, they did it for a year at a time,
Yeah.
and that certainly gives us some bargaining room if we don't like what we get.
yes, I think that's good.
Anyways, that's all I had.
And the way I look at this, if we only sign a 1-year contract, if we don't like it, we can move on.
That's what I just said.
He's agreeing with you.
He's not listening.
We can't hear you, turn, talk.
Oh, there you go. No. But what I personally want is for a police department to respond. And like Jackson Howe said at town, either when I was talking to him personally or at town meeting, if it takes hours, if there's an abuse case or something, or I can't think of what I want to say now. If a guy, basically bluntly, if a guy's beating up his wife and they arrest him, it takes hours to do that, but I think that's valuable. Personally, way more valuable than stopping somebody for speeding.
That was a question that was brought up because there is some interest. More interest lately about speeding, especially in the village.
Yep.
We lowered that and we're, you know, I've seen it, you've seen it, Gary.
Yeah, we have.
People are not slowing down. At all, you know, quite a few people, so how much? Maybe you should think about how much you want that's dedicated to speeding. You know, we're certainly gonna put something together, I think that's asking them to be a little more, delineate how their hours are spent. I remember sitting here listening to Sheriff Boyniak, where you asked him repeatedly to do that.
Yeah.
He said he would, never did.
I guess that brings up another question for me is, how flexible are you? Not you, but the police department, Windsor County or Loretta. If we think that something else needs to be focused on a little more, can you change gears and do that, or are you just gonna do patrols and just gonna do speed checks?
I just have a concern about Royalton in that it seems odd to sort of farm out your town policing, so we're somewhat vulnerable to the Royalton Select Board or voters saying like,
Yeah,
let's just go back to VSP, and then what do we do?
Yeah, I know they covered Sharon, Royalton covered Sharon for a while, and I think that was, what, 5 or 6 years ago, and then there was a dispute about whether Royalton could dictate what they did, the balance of their work, and they walked away from that.
Yeah.
And went back to Windsor County.
Oh, interesting.
And that may be true with all of them, we may not, we'll find out.
Okay.
We'll at least ask them, I mean, the past experience I've had from sheriff's departments is that they tell you what you want to hear.
We can touch base with some of the other, we can touch base with Chelsea to see what their experience.
Well, and Trevor Whipple might be able to help us write it up,
yes,
where if we don't, like you said, if we don't like it, we can move on.
I said that,
I didn't pick the plant out.
There's an old saying from remember the Laugh-In show? TV show? There's a guy that was hiding behind a plant. With a pith helmet on.
very interesting.
Yeah. It's always your seat, Brenda.
Yeah,
I like it.
Yeah. So we'll get going.
all right, thank you very much. Thank you.
Anything else? Thank you very much.
Have a good one. Thanks for your drive home.
Brenda, can you hear me? How come we didn't get no cookies coming?
I didn't see my house.
Good, Rodney, sure there.
I could have
Yeah.
Where were you, James?
tomorrow. Come up tomorrow.
Okay, I'll
We're
be
gonna
here,
be starting boiling
I'll be here
again.
instead.
No, not at 6. Give us some time. The buckets are all frozen.
Oh, really? Yeah.
The pipelines are right.
Hey, I already didn't show up, so I'm just going to Jen's,
Okay,
so come up there. and-
all right.
Or are you guys don't? You guys are eating cookies? Oh, crackers, yeah.
They want cookies.
Right, you have the speaker?
I have a speaker, I'm just gonna leave it in Jackie, so come up to Jen. She said the road isn't as bad as ours. So.
Really? Monarch Hill.
Good road.
Why there's no material left, because it's all.
On the Selectboard chairs road.
Huh, coincidence? I don't think so. Probably ends right around that.
Right by the barn, yeah.
It's like it's so bad.
Or Andy can't get home. Pepper's stuck in the mud.
Off the end of the.
Andy went.
Brother Pete, we have to go the other way.
So. Someone make a motion to this declaration of independence.
I make a motion that we, accept the Declaration of Inclusion. Is that the word I wanted?
Yes.
We have to post it somewhere, right?
We'll put it on the website and
Make it sign.
I'm gonna have Janet. Well, up a big thing.
West Tunbridge.
I'm not, no, I'm gonna take my signs down.
Oh.
Yeah, make me a couple
We're
signs.
gonna mow it into
Yeah.
the hayfield out in West Tunbridge, so you can walk over and see it.
Some rocks.
We like it.
Did you second that, John?
I did.
All right, all in favor of Mike's motion, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye,
But
all right.
Phones quote.
Yeah, that's the next thing in your packet. This was a company that I think Heather told you about.
Yep.
And much more reasonable, much more affordable.
Who told us about?
Heather Mullen told Gary about it.
What was the first one? It was.
It was like 10 grand or something. This one is 1,047. And then, it will be monthly charges of $77 a month to have it, just maintain the
And
service.
that's for what?
That's for new phones, so it will be phone systems that we
In here.
can transfer to each other. When you call this number, it'll say press 1 for treasurer, press 2 for listers, then they'll separate. And like the voicemails will work because they don't work right now and the phone screens don't work and all of that, so. It would just be nice to upgrade that a little bit,
Whatever do you want? Press 8 for the vice chair,
yeah.
9 for Deb.
I want to be number one.
That'd be fine. Press 1 for the vice chair.
Exactly.
Whatever. You know who runs this town.
But if you wanna go right straight to my barn, you can press 17 or something.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it could be that much that like, if you want to speak to the select board chair, press 5, and then it would just ring right to you.
Hear the vacuum pump coming.
Yeah,
If you wanna, if you're trying to call the library, if you're trying to call the fairgrounds, because people try to call the fairgrounds all the time.
Yeah.
But I also know that you brought up, you didn't want it to be automated. You didn't want it to try to call me and have it immediately go to like a greeting, so you don't have to do that either.
so if someone's here, they'll answer the phone.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I guess we could have like an answering service type of thing, not like if you're gonna leave, you like program the phone and it would say.
I'm not here.
Be sort of like an answering machine then.
I mean, true, but.
You each have your own. and-
So right now, yeah, right now Becky and I each have our own numbers, but a lot of times people call me and they wanna talk to Becky and I have to be like, you have to hang up and you have to dial this number. And like, not that it's the end of the world, but just, it would look better for
But
the
if
town if I could say.
To the town clerk or the treasurer, you all have your dedicated answering machines.
Just, yeah, so right now, just me and like Becky, the treasurer and the listers all share one, so the voicemail is like, if you've reached the treasurer and the listers, and then one of them listens to it, and then the other one forgets to tell one that they got a message.
That would be way.
Yeah, so that would be a lot better, if not for anything, just for the two of them to be able to have their delineated. We could make it work,
Pass it on.
yeah.
Administrative assistant.
So is it just gonna be one phone number then for the town offices?
So, well, it would be
5521 for
It would
everybody?
be, I mean, we can decide, that's something we could work out, if you think it should be. 5521 for the town clerk, 3571 for the listers and the treasurer, but then. Just with the ability to be able to like, if somebody calls me accidentally, I can transfer it to Rudy if they're looking for him. And it wouldn't go to Becky and then Becky would have to pass the phone to Rudy and all of that. Or we could just have one number and split it out 3 ways. It's whatever you think would be best,
Darn, I know.
okay?
What do people know? I mean, most people know the 552
Right.
1.
I get, and a lot of people, I mean, this phone does ring independently on its own a lot without coming to me, so I guess if we kept the 2 numbers, but just had the ability to like. Or if somebody called, say I programmed the phone at 2 o'clock on a Thursday and somebody calls Friday morning to my side, it could pick up and say. Press 2 for listers, and then it could bring them over here and not just get my voicemail and they say, what the heck?
Right.
Nobody's in, why isn't the listers answering? It says it's their office hours.
So
So-
can 2 phone numbers ring the same phone?
I mean, so like this program that they will do, it's like a digitized program, so they would be able to set it all up like
Yeah.
that.
I'm just thinking, if people know or look up the number for the listers.
Yeah,
And they don't know that this phone system has changed. If they ring 3571
yeah.
and it doesn't go anywhere, then what do?
Well, no, it'll still have 3571, so I think we'll keep both numbers, but then if they call 3571, this side will have the automatic answering and
Yeah.
say, press 1 for the treasurer, press 2 for the listers. And then they'll press 1 or the other, and then it'll just bring this phone system here, or Becky's on her desk,
Gotcha.
but then it would be split out that way. but still
Yeah.
keep the two numbers that we already have.
Gotcha, okay, I think that's the way to go.
Yeah,
But then this, most likely the select board could be on that one.
Right,
potentially, Right,
right, yeah,
you're like rescue for the select board.
right, and that would end up being like, when I was leaving, before I leave, it would just be. Like locking the door, I'd set the phone, and then it would, after hours, be like, press this number for the
Because
select
right
board.
now, right,
Right,
there's no administrative assistant number,
No.
right, it's the town clerk
Right.
usually gets them.
yeah. So I think that that would just be good, eliminate some confusion, and then even if people still keep calling over there, I could at least transfer it where they want it to go and not have to be like, do you have your pen with you, like,
Right, yeah.
write this down.
Right. And even have a somewhat directory potentially, if you said like, if you wanna call it down garage, on the answering. machine,
Exactly,
you Say,
yeah.
123319.
Yeah. Yeah, click this button for the town garage, if you wanna get a hold of our police department,
Right.
click
yeah,
this button and it'll direct them to, whoever.
I want to get a hold of constable, that's 13.
Yeah, for
Right,
my
West
address,
Tunbridge.
yeah, exactly.
It could be your buddy Bill Cameron, he could be the constable for West Tunbridge.
Oh, I don't think so.
Start working on your kingdom over there.
Yeah.
So do you wanna make a motion to,
I make a motion that we go with communications for a new phone system.
Did you meet with them? You're like,
I haven't met with them, but I've talked to them on the phone a couple times and they're very on top of it. They followed up with a couple times. How's it going? Do you have any questions? Do you want us to do?
great, I said.
all right, all in favor of Mike's motion, please say aye.
And like, Arby's is great. That's who we got the original quote from. They service our computers, our printers, all of our stuff, but they do like, I had reached out for the phone quote a long time ago and it slipped between the cracks and then it was like super astronomical. And so this
That was crazy.
Yeah,
company seems very,
Their phone people.
yes. Okay, MRGP.
What does that mean?
It's our annual report form that we fill out every year that it's the watershed management division, stormwater program. Says that we meet their criteria. And it's like, we have to pay them like $1,200 or something. Yeah,
Is it your natural resources?
Department of Environmental Conservation.
Right, that's the division within.
Yeah. It's something that we have, yeah, it's something we have to do. It's not.
since you have to do it, you gotta do it.
So. To make a motion, we
Fine.
sign the MRGP annual report for 2024.
All in favor, say aye.
Wow.
Select board chair.
I know I almost didn't put that because we were gonna make some changes tonight potentially. Maybe, Brian was gonna be select board chair.
No. Gary's kingdom, we're just living
I
in.
mean, don't we all?
It's
Yeah.
Yes.
I don't know. Yeah, what I do.
Interests.
You ever notice how long they're?
They are really long.
That, I don't know, what's next.
Like if Mike was chair, they'd have to dig up Monarch Hill, all that good material, and take the kills in. Put the woodchucker on Monarch. Just Gary has to sign it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's fair.
Oh, you gotta submit with Janet.
Yes, I can bring that up. You guys have anything? You feel?
Month season.
Yeah. Passing.
There's a wicked cold breeze coming in here.
Muncie, town meeting, I guess. right?
Yeah.
I know, what are we gonna be working on the next 3 months?
But at some point, we gotta get quotes, requests for bids or whatever on this building and.
Yeah, we had our energy audit from the brick grant, right? Was it brick that we did for this building?
I think so.
Talk about.
I guess the noise ordinance and policing will be working on.
And legal trails.
Only legal trans.
I thought that had gone away.
How do we stand with Cal Hemingway? I mean, I think we need to move ahead on that somehow.
Sure, yes, fill it up on this.
And it seems to me that we've got permission basically from Tim and Jen and Angel to put a trail across their property. That would cure the trespassing part of it. And that Cal would, if he would just accept that it's a legal trail. And then we would just, that would,
Well, he'd have to give us permission from where the legal trail ends to Timmy's.
Right.
oh, it doesn't go all the way through? Oh, right, I guess, yeah,
There's a little gap there.
yeah. But that would cure the problem unless
Right,
the real problem is Cal just doesn't want people there,
right.
but he says he does, so.
Well, no, that alternative of doing an easement, maybe with both Cal and the Angels of, you know, a public right of way that you could re-out every year or something. like
Right,
that.
well, that's kind of what Timmy wanted to do.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, like grass does. Because otherwise, it seems like I don't see how we can really move forward.
Right,
I don't see Cal saying, oh, yes, more right of way in my land, this is a good thing, you know.
Well, unless we decide to give up the legal trail,
That's what I mean, yeah. And then we'll get a bunch of pushback from that too.
right? A bunch.
I hate him, pushback.
So I don't know what we do about them. And then as far as Orchard Road Trail. we'll just at least wait for a Supreme Court decision.
But that sounds like it's like years and years away.
Um,
I mean, I thought it was gonna end at some point, but then whoever it was at town meeting or. maybe-
Todd probably, right?
Yeah, probably, Todd said that they're gonna hear the case at some point, but then they might be 9 months before they actually have a decision.
Well, Terrence seemed to say something different, but
Well, I didn't see that,
like they're just finishing, they're back and forth briefs.
yeah,
And so, right now, they're at the point where the Supreme Court could hear it next,
yeah,
whenever, month or 6 weeks. But then, right, then there's this incredibly long delay,
right,
possibly, I guess.
so do we wanna just plain? What if the trails person, whoever the trail steward is for that, is it Thornton or?
Maybe,
And yeah, if they say on May 31st is dry enough, do we wanna just open it up and let bicycles go there
yeah,
and just not worry about it? I mean,
right,
that's,
well, I think there's that, and then there's the whole maintenance issue, do we do any maintenance on it?
well, my vote would be to just open it up and not worry about maintenance now until something needs to be maintained.
That probably makes more sense to do that than get into the merits of his suit,
Right,
like if we start maintaining. Because at the moment, if we just say it's open, that we, I think, have a right to that. 'cause
and we can say that the ruts are this deep and we don't wanna maintain till they're twice as deep.
So I'd leave it up to the steward then, maybe.
Yeah, well, I think at some point, some meeting, we ought to make that decision. Well, we have to properly warn it, is what I mean, and so next meeting or the meeting after, we can make
Have the
that,
stewards in, and
Yeah.
just say, when you guys, if you guys think it's
right? Cause I don't wanna do something that's not legal.
right,
why don't? Why don't we next meeting, try to come up with something that Mariah can write a letter to Hemingway
Mhm.
or something. And say this is our proposal. Whatever we come up with,
Yeah.
you know. We don't wanna give up the legal trail and. You know, we'd like to get your permission to use rest of it on your land and we think we can get Timmy's permission. And have a trail through there
I think that's great.
and then,
I don't think now.
right. Right. Well, then we'll know.
All right. Next meeting, Legal Trail, Orchard Road and Falls Hill.
See if the steward can come in. too.
Now,
And I trust Rudy and Thornton.
Me too.
Say, yeah, you're not gonna get environmental damage here.
And they bought all those trail signs and everything too, or like posting it open and closed and all of that, so.
The Euclid Fernand's Road, that's just
The orchard,
closed.
I mean, the
Oh.
crossing.
Okay, we don't have to worry about that.
Yeah. I don't remember who the steward is on that.
I don't know.
Maybe it's
I
Jonathan,
was gonna say it's on the time.
but no, that's just,
It's awful,
it's awful, yeah.
and just invites people not using the actual trail.
Yeah, if somehow the trail was made on Deb's land or Priscilla's land, then it's feasible to go through, but there's a big chunk. 100 yards long or more, it's just a trough that's 7 or 8 feet deep. And 20 feet wide, and it's just all clay, so if it's wet at all, it's just a slippery sliding mess.
So especially a bike would have to go up and on. the
Yeah,
banks. And Baptist, no one really walks on that anyway,
I've never walked the whole length of that.
it's wet.
Yeah.
So, but winter makes sense for Bass to use half of it as they do.
Mhm.
Just because it's pretty stable.
Right, with snow on, yeah.
But that's, its future too is somewhat, hinges on the Cheveria saying you can use my land. Like last year,
Right.
when he said, you're not, I'm disinviting Bass, we had to try to figure out a workaround. Across like our land and see what I think it says, the Batis and use the very end of it.
Right.
That's gonna be tricky, because they have a nice bridge there, and you have to build another bridge or.
But as far as Baptist goes, in my opinion, just, you don't need to act on it until it
No.
becomes an issue.
Right.
If all of a sudden people start walking through there, and riding their bikes through. They'll do something about it.
At the very least, sign it, so. You have to stay on your 3 rods or whatever it is,
Right.
where you're not going through. Whichever is long.
Yeah, right.
Anything else for the future? We have unfinished bridge culvert projects on Stratford Road, or do we go?
Well, yeah, paving on that little stretch, the culvert by Tuttle's, it's gonna be done. So that's yet to be done. You could mention that the dump is now open a little bit later, different hours.
It's 47 now. Okay, well, Adam's name down to this. We can do steps. Last time we were looking for anybody.
Yeah. Yeah.
Where
Is
are
Rod
we on?
totally done? Is Rod totally done?
I think, yeah, for all intents and purposes, I haven't actually talked to him about it, but yes, I think he is. Because Mike was gonna be the full. Yes, Mike,
So where are we on the sheriff's thing? We inviting them in again, or
Dave and Brenda and the committee are gonna meet.
they're gonna do it? Okay. Okay.
I mean, I wasn't sure how much they were gonna want to be involved in the committee. So I thought we ought to have them back in at least once. But if they come back with a recommendation.
Yeah.
act on it.
I have 4 liquor licenses.
Really?
Well, one's a renewal for North Tunbridge General Store, their tobacco license, and then their second class license. And then Upper Pass Beer has asked for a special events permit for, at the Tunbridge General Store, they're gonna have a small table in the retail area, for March 20th, just for the evening.
Well, it's opening every day.
Yeah, and then Rockall Bank Brewery has asked for a limited event, for the Nano Fest in August.
Nano.
So they're gonna be down in the pavilion, food trucks, band outdoors, fence surrounding the entire event.
What does Nano Fest mean? Does it mean just you can get the little glasses of beer?
Well, I think nano has to do with like the size of the brewery, like how much beer they make.
Oh,
It's like micro brews, nano brews, so nano's like the really small breweries.
Nano smaller than micro?
Yeah, so like, Brockle Banks and nano.
Craft originally was like the Nanos,
Yeah.
and then craft now is like long trailers of the,
Yeah.
yeah, it's pretty big.
I think you ought to take
Okay.
care of that.
Mariah's Nano.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so March 20th,
Kombucha.
that's up next Wednesday,
next Wednesday.
yeah,
Oh, cause they did their Wednesday music.
Oh, right.
at the North Tunbridge store maybe,
No, it's Tunbridge Village, at the general store.
this one was for,
I thought it was-
hold on,
Pretty sure.
Tunbridge General Store, you're right, I'm on, okay.
I gave you before, I can't, right.
Maybe they could send you up a nano beer. You could drink while you're doing chores.
All right, we start touring them. Or he always goes.
Or if it's starting late.
And then at town meeting, you had asked me to look up the state statute about noise,
Oh, yeah.
so I looked that up.
Yeah.
And that just says that a person who between sunset and sunrise disturbs and breaks the public peace by firing guns, blowing horns, or other unnecessary and offensive noise shall not be fined more than $50. However, this section shall not prevent a person employing workers for the purpose of giving notice to his or her employees from ringing bells or using whistles or gongs of such size and weight in such manner
1870.
and at such hours as the select board members of the town, the aldermen of the city, or the trustees of the village may prescribe in writing. And that's all that we have from the city.
So I can use a gong?
You can.
Get that gong?
And it's a totally a nighttime thing too.
Yeah, sunset to sunrise.
If you wanna shoot your howitzer off. Well, they don't, that's interesting.
Yeah.
It hasn't been updated because that is
Yeah.
an old ordinance.
And then I did find what Anissa was talking about, the traffic ordinance. You signed it in 1997. Have
Yeah.
you been on the select board straight since 97?
Oh,
Okay.
I took a breather.
It just is about.
You lived in North Korea for a while.
Yeah. Speed regulations on the different roads, Town Highway 714, 65. Loaded vehicles, provisions. And then you had an amendment in 2018. To just add new speed regulations for Drew Road, Spring Road, and Monarch Hill Road. But that was all, so I guess we do have them,
So we have
from what I'm seeing, yeah.
on town highways, we have a speeding ordinance.
Yeah. Yeah,
That's all.
so we should be good with that.
But we need, if we want to do 110, then we're gonna have an ordinance for 110.
Right, cause I think that was what we had talked about before, was that
I
like,
think that's what Loretta's.
right, if we wanna get some money back from the speeders on 110, which is where you're gonna get everybody, then we need an ordinance for that.
Cause she said, I think she said, if we got an ordinance. They write the ticket out and goes to the state or something, then the state sends us.
It's not bad.
$7 or something.
whatever.
We'll let the Stratford release them. That's all our.
Yeah,
Yeah, we'd have to post that differently. It's 50 or something.
And some, it's like There's something weird with Route 132, something was just telling us, wasn't there?
I was gonna do that. Wasn't it, or was it Gabe?
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe I pulled something.
That's not there, he said it on state road.
Stratford's the only town in Vermont that owns the earth under the roads, for one thing, it's like a weird town.
Every road,
I think so.
really?
But I know some towns, the village is not the state highway, you know, so if
Right.
you went through Bethel,
But
that's
Randolph-
not Route 14, it's Main
Right.
Street Bethel or something like that.
Randolph's like
It's like
that,
that,
because the
yeah.
state comes in, they pick your plow up, drives
Are you
through town
kidding?
and
Really?
drop it.
Huh,
Cause in the sign there it says.
And the state highway there.
and the-
Really?
Yeah, right there where it turns to whatever it is, 25 or 30 right there. As you head into town.
I don't know why they do that, but that must, their jurisdiction, then they can stop people. For speeding. The Rodney Fisk Highway, Rodney Point Highway would be. From Cambridge to. Yonkers.
Memorial Highway.
28 years. But then you're on the hook to maintain it, right? Randolph has to then.
Yeah.
Plow.
They have to maintain.
So we don't want to get into that, that's for sure.
Oh, and then this is from Mary Ann, Gary, please sign.
Oh. And I asked, I just saw Mary Ann, she's up to Lori's all the time, and I asked her if she ever saw grants for those speed signs that flash your.
Right.
If you ever could get a grant for something like that, you put one down here and one over there.
Yeah.
I thought that was part of the sidewalk scoping project.
It might be.
No.
They have come back with 3 different proposals. And the planning commissions have been looking at those, and I think they're gonna then come to you later on with like what proposal, yeah, what recommendation they suggest.
So we have pre-town meeting and town meeting minutes.
Well, this was, yeah, our regular select board
Right,
meeting,
that had the pre-town.
that had pre-town meeting,
And then
town meeting,
full on town meeting.
Yeah.
Yeah, like this one.
that's fine. I think it's like 5 pages, yeah, you'll wanna take that section with you.
The $49,000 grant.
What are you gonna sting?
Everywhere, I mean, part of it, part of it.
We went to Target, maybe. This is really wanted.
If you need one that big.
I drink a lot of water if I use that, because it's almost a half gallon.
Can't carry it around. Drink some.
That's right. Speaking of half gallons. I want it, do you have a spout in your bulk tank that I can come get milk out of?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll come up
Spout.
sometime and you can show me how.
Okay.
Cause I used to get milk from Rory and Chris. Which was fine, but they don't have that, like Christine has to wait till the tank gets full, cause they're on every other day pickup, and then she like reaches down with a ladle,
Yeah.
so it was like very inconvenient. And then I have to drive to Chelsea too.
Mhm. I got the little spout because. I use my vivid imagination that someone would come in and open the lid up and then set something on the edge and. and then-
Oh, no.
and then
Ruin the whole.
Like someone with a purse or something.
Yeah.
Or some
A
kid,
phone.
yeah, phone. Kid would lock something in there. So now they don't open the top of the.
Yeah, there you go.
You'd be eating your Stonyfield yogurt. Phone.
Yeah, exactly.
Do that.
But then the only thing that does happen is, it's happened twice where someone. The valve on the end of the tank comes out and it does a lever that
Right.
you turn, and if you turn it back to. Quarter way or whatever, it's off, but people will turn it too far and then the milk keeps coming out.
Uh-oh. So you come and it's all over the floor.
That hasn't happened yet, but one person put the gooseneck part off and then screwed the cap back on,
No,
so it didn't leak out, and the other person came, oh, yeah.
it wouldn't.
But so, no matter what, you can't make it foolproof.
Well, I don't know.
Yeah,
Maybe,
Are you gonna start drinking raw milk?
yeah, I love Rory and Chris's milk, same thing, but.
Gary's is probably
It
better.
is.
Yeah.
I'm sure it is, yeah.
Not the whole
Here,
thing.
here,
I only have one Holstein.
What do you have, jerseys?
That's what those brown cows.
I know, I guess I didn't even like register when I looked at them.
Flew in and flew out
I was so concerned that I was gonna go off the road on the rest of my trip to Randolph.
just for pizza.
Or lonely Holstein.
Yeah, 4 long balls.
She thinks she's a Jersey. Maybe. How are you doing that? Okay.
Was that what your grandfather always had, was jerseys
And one Holstein.
and one Holstein? Oh, okay.
Somebody asked him one time, why do you have one Holstein? And he said, well, I milk her last and then I don't have to rinse out the milk or pay up.
Yeah. Maybe I'll start making my own butter too then.
It's easy.
It's easy.
Have you gotten your oven out yet?
My pizza oven, yeah, we just made pizza in it. Not last night, but the night before, yeah,
That wasn't,
really good.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it takes like 30 seconds or something.
yeah, it doesn't take very long, it's like 950 degrees.
Yeah.
Yeah. It takes like a little getting used to because, you know, because it is so hot, it melts everything super fast, so if your crust is like even a little bit too thick, everything will be. Like to cook the crust, you basically have to char the pizza, so you've got to do super, super thin crust. but-
Yeah.
What is, our liability in town, like, I'm always worried about, like, the rec department, like, are they under because they're a town, could they do?
Yeah.
Anything that happens in the ball field,
Yeah,
there's a. Like, the town of Tunbridge has a sort of blanket liability.
yeah, I mean, like we talked about for like the drinking on the ball field and
Right.
stuff, like, you know, as long as like. I think, so we had a guy from like claims or something come in and look everything over, he does it like every other year or something, and. He said that, you know, we should have like a sign up, which we do, and like that at the beginning of the year, like. The team should maybe sign waivers and things like that, but like, yes, like he said, yes, you know, you're covered unless, you know.
And then how do things like the skating rink is a rec department thing, but it's also the school uses it a lot, so. The SU probably has their own,
Probably,
yeah, I just wonder how sort of shared spaces work like that.
No, John, you always throw me the really hard questions, that
They're good ones, so.
Keep thinking about it. It's something-
lose and sleep over it.
In the business of getting sued, right?
I hope not.
Can you call them to head it out?
Our audience is bored.
She looks bored.
I'm not bored. I'm super entertained.
Do we need to do a skit or something and tell some jokes?
Will you
So-
sing?
Yeah, sing.
Sing?
Yeah,
Can I sing?
no, I mean, can you hold a tune?
No,
No. And Lori,
pretty good.
yeah?
Yeah.
She's got a good voice.
I get in the shower where the air is moist, it helps me. I'm a pretty good whistler though.
More information than I want.
I thought you asked.
I guess he won't sing, but he can whistle. What? You have one tune, you whistle a lot, like my mother has, and it's usually the same.
The same thing?
Yeah, I know other people like that too.
Yeah, my parents have just one whistle,
Exactly,
and they like
yeah.
whistle it back and forth to each other.
Really?
Yeah, but they like subconsciously do it. It's really
That's
weird.
really funny.
Like, you guys are doing the whistle.
What is it,
thing,
you know?
She's
No,
trying to
it's
block
not.
it out.
What's that?
She's trying to block.
Is it a
out.
melody like? in
It's
a
just something,
song?
no, it's just something that they made up.
Weird.
Yeah, it's like their.
But they're
whistle.
different, right? It's like a back and forth.
No, it's the same whistle.
Oh, it
They
is,
do the
okay.
same like.
But their own
melody.
versions of it.
Yes. And one of them will be in the basement and they'll do it, and then the other
Right.
one will be over here, and
I
I'll just
like
be sitting
birds,
at the
yeah.
table.
Yeah.
What is happening?
Those two robins back.
Right, exactly. So one robin.
I saw a bunch of them, one three across my house,
Oh, really?
big fat ones,
Yeah.
yesterday.
Doug has been very into birding. We
Yeah.
have some bird feeders up, and in our bedroom, the power lines come right in and hook right above our window, so the birds sit right on it.
What are they?
Just like sparrows.
Just bird.
You probably have a cardinal.
I do, yeah.
Yeah, we're good at cardinals.
You do? That's,
Better, ever.
Up there, up there.
At the barn?
Yeah.
never get up to that, well, once in a while.
Yeah, so it's right in the tree, right next to our dad.
Really?
Whistle, or
Yeah, they have a good song.
sings, yeah,
I've got something that I'll loan now.
yeah.
It's a book about birds and it has a picture of them, but it also has a little thing that will tell them,
Push the button.
push the button and it
Oh.
puts a bird song.
Oh, she would love that.
Yeah.
Yeah, she like sits on the couch and she can have a slider door and she'd be like, bird, tree. And she'll make me like pick her up, so we'll go see it. and-
Yeah.
So yeah, she would like that.
Sherry put that app on her phone.
Right.
Hear a bird, should.
It recognizes it, right?
And it
I
tells you
love
what
it.
it is.
I read it.
That's all.
Yeah.
I'll have to do that, cause I heard a bird the other day and I don't know what it was. It must have been passing through because I only,
Right, but your ear, like,
Yeah.
I'm saying that, like, what is that? The titmice are really seen. Brings on there.
heard the red-winged blackbird.
Oh, just to get the,
We had one of those grackles, there was a huge bunch of grackles with two.
Yeah. That was on town meeting morning. I heard the red-winged black.
guess we got the gate fixed at the dump.
Sort of,
Oh, good. I will let that guy know.
and we got work on the deck too at some point.
Yeah,
I think pretty sad shape.
Did you see our flag fell down in the wind?
from here?
Yeah,
No, I
it's
didn't.
just in the corner now over there.
Be careful about that.
Sure, raining.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Either, somebody will complain.
Rich, great.
When I do come to get milk. Is it $5 half gallon?
$4,
Wow.
$4 a gallon.
$4 a gallon.
You can pay more if you want.
Holy smokes. This is a good
Yeah.
bargain.
It's cheaper than goat milk.
'Cause I've been buying it at the grocery store and I'll buy it there like
Like 8, isn't it? Something like that.
for a gallon, yeah. I buy, it's like $5.29 for a half gallon.
Okay.
Of
Is it organic milk?
yeah, it's Organic Valley or
Yeah.
I try to get that. Horizon. I try not to get Horizon because they screwed everybody.
Right.
Plus it's a radius.
Oh, is it? Never mind that. But yeah, it's like,
This will do bad in July.
yeah.
You don't even have to refrigerate it. It must be,
It's pretty creepy, you know.
yeah. No, right now. Through the co-op, if I sell it bulk. I get like $3 and I can't remember now, 60 cents
Mhm. A gallon.
a gallon for it. So I don't feel bad charging you $4 a gallon,
How much you get?
$4 a gallon.
No, what,
Oh, 3 something.
just Stony Field.
Yeah.
We're getting.
Well, Bob Mason gives me 5 and I think Dwayne gives me 5. So if you want to pay more, we can. but you don't have to.
I probably will, just for like the ease of a $10 bill versus making change.
And if you buy 5 gallons at a time, you get the same price.
Oh, okay, there's no bulk rate, okay.
She brings a cup, that's the same.
Oh,
Yeah.
If she fills out.
Yeah.
No, I have all those glass jars, cause I have been buying all the Stratford milk too.
Yep.
And then I just didn't return them, so those are half gallons and. Easy to fill up, so I'll bring the pool up.
Yep.
We'll shake hands and we'll get some milk and we'll.
all right. Work out.
You get your milk picked up every day, is your,
No, every 2 days.
every two?
None of your milk ends up as fluid milk, does it?
Once in a great while, we'll go to Booth Brothers or Hood,
Oh, it does?
just because of scheduling or something
Yeah.
like that, so it probably does. But usually most of the time.
Mostly yogurt.
Yep.
Is that all they make there? Do they make ice cream? Or do they make salad cream? or-
They make their own milk, but I'm not sure if they make it from like my milk,
Right,
fluid milk, because
they do sell, yeah.
they do buy direct, Stonyfield buys direct from some farmers,
Mhm.
but I sort of don't know how that works.
You got the letter out about the abatement?
Yes. And then I saw her a couple days later in Lebanon.
Really?
I was-
Oh, God. Small world. Is there any, like, I know ARC got closed, the Central Vermont Solid Waste Management, because of the flood, it's their little place to bring hazardous stuff for electronics. Is there a replacement place now?
I thought it was just the Central Vermont Solid Waste Management District. Like they have their like headquarters in Barry.
Right, but they got flooded. so
Oh.
they closed.
Oh, then,
I didn't know, like, right, if you have a CFL light bulb, or if you have,
No.
television, where do you bring it?
not that I know of. I mean, I know we're having our.
Can you find out?
Sure.
Because we should put that on our website.
Yeah, Devin, I shouldn't say it on.
Well, that's
Well,
another,
not Devin, let's just say, somebody in town.
I know someone who,
They go out, put their TV.
no, he always jokes. He doesn't do this because I would never allow it, but he always jokes and says the river is nature's trash can. I say, Devin.
You are so right.
where did you take that old TV? Oh, I took it out with there. It wasn't gone 20 minutes.
Yeah,
Don't look down with it.
exactly.
I'm just going out for a cigarette. Where did the TV go?
But that's, something that Adam wanted the bulletin board for, at the dump, was to tell people stuff like that. So he was actually gonna get the materials to
Did I
do.
not? I had signs made. I had signs made and
Where are they?
I gave them to the transfer station,
Okay,
so
was that during Mike's reign?
it was.
Okay, so maybe
Thank
Mike has them,
Or they're hidden somewhere.
yeah.
They have like the big like posters from like Central
Right,
Vermont
yeah.
that say like, this is what you can.
Recycle.
Recycle, this is what you can't recycle, like with our prices and all of that.
Hmm.
So I've already done that, so
Yeah.
I don't know where they ended up.
I guess some, yelling.
There's a second page that needs to be signed, right?
I don't know, was it conceptual? Do they- Yeah, I think that's Joel, not Jim sign, maybe the next one, and
Yeah, looks like it.
Oh, there's two spots. Looks like it, and one. Um, two spots.
really nice.
Good, good. Take me a couple minutes to get home.
I'll take this one. And then-
Yeah.
You go all the way around and you came over. Come on, yeah, the scout goes through.
We had the scouting with any questions.
Right. Go there, get that out of here.
I saw a scout on Facebook Marketplace. Can't remember what, 1979, it was
Right.
nice looking rig, you know, it was pretty much a candy apple red,
Wow, how much?
I don't remember, it was a fair amount, but
Was it the nicest one?
It was
what year
over.
it was,
68.
yeah, better than,
Older's better.
I didn't want to just jump in.
Would be nice, apoplectic, because I guess all these people have been kicked off Facebook Marketplace. You heard of them?
I saw Emily post about it,
For what reason?
No one knows,
Oh, really?
yeah,
like, you can't even search,
right,
really?
yeah. And they keep creating like a new page or something, and then that gets blocked too, so. But then, like Sean English said, like, beginning quickly was re-admitted, so. After complaining a lot. So. But then, it sounds like the worst company in the world as far as like, you never can reach it. Be like, why did this happen?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't see no words.
But you haven't been booted, right?
No.
I think it was.
Not very nice.
How do you think about back there?
I didn't even know we had one. He just stayed in the shadows.
She's a stalker. No.
I'm a Facebook friend with Emily.
Yeah.
I'm a Facebook friend with Lori, but maybe I should have Gary.
Just ask.
Request for friendship.
Please be my friend.
Who is this?
There he is, and he's holding a trophy, probably that trophy right
Yeah,
there,
Could be.
add as my friend.
Got race this year.
No. All right,
Make a motion, we adjourn.
all in favor, say aye. Aye. We are adjourned. Shut that baby down. Nice to see you again.
Bye.
Glad you're entertained. Glad you weren't bored.
Well, we entertain you.